and welcome to another segment of the Sequire Spotlight. I'm Carmel Fisher, VP of Platform Services here at Strax. Also the host of this amazing show, bringing you up-to-date market news, as well as highlighting some of our companies on our books. And today, we're having a discussion with Bret, CEO of GPO Plus with the OTC ticker GPOX. Bret, welcome.
Carmel, thanks for having me. I really appreciate being here.
Of course, wonderful. Excited to hear more about what GPO Plus does and the latest developments. So as an overview, please let us know what GPO Plus is all about.
Well, sure. That's a great question. Over the last 2 quarters, we've really done a big pivot because when we started GPO Plus, our main emphasis was on health GPO. Quite frankly, we sold a couple $1 million worth of COVID tests, and we never dreamed that the COVID market would last as long as it did and that wave lasts as long as it did. So finally, in February, we had a management discussion. We said, you know what, let's get back to our core competency. Let's go back to specialty retailers. Let's go back to, identifying products that we can acquire, creating our own products. And so the business model of GPO Plus now is pretty straightforward. We have 2 real aspects. One is our business to business division. That's Distro Plus. I'll get to that in a second. So that's all of our B2B wholesale retailers. Then we're working on a direct-to-consumer model, which is going to be staggering, that we're launching the first calendar quarter of this next year, where we're building, a bunch of websites that are fully search engine optimized around different product categories and different offerings that we have. So our model is to either acquire companies and acquire brands and products, or develop our own brands and products and drop them into the sales channels that we've already set up that we're always continuing to grow. And that's how we make money. So with Distro Plus, we announced that in April. And since that time, we've had a couple big announcements. We've had a couple new distribution agreements that we've entered. I'm most excited about Joe Giacone coming on board. He's the divisional president. He's got a great pedigree, a strong background. And I'll tell you what, he's done a great job since he's been here. And I'm really excited with his leadership. Also along the way, we acquired a company called New Triumph. New Triumph is a nutraceutical company and vitamin company, but they have one product that we just absolutely love, and it's called Herberol. Herberol is a natural alternative to Adderall. Currently, right now, we're selling 60 counts, which is two pills for 1 serving. So it's a 30-day supply. You can buy it on Amazon, herberol.com. But what we're getting ready to do now is move into a 4-pack, which we're excited to be announcing soon. And that's going to be for convenience stores and C-stores and more of an impulse buy. But the main thing is people will be able to try it without having to make a commitment of getting a full bottle. They could just buy a 4-pack and try it. So with New Triumph and with Herberol and all the product offerings, that was kind of our first nice acquisition, to have a product that we can then go out and start monetizing, direct to consumers first. And now we're working on the Distro Plus model with the business to business and retailer wholesaler.
Excellent. So in July, there was news released about your relationship with Luku. I hope I'm saying that correctly, but can you expand on how the engagement with them has impacted sales?
Yeah, absolutely. So Luku, we signed a long-term agreement with them. Luku is a streaming platform, but don't get caught up on that. You need to look at the influencers that they have and the reach that they have with their platform. There's a lot of companies that are coming on there and a lot of individuals that will use Luku as a platform, similar to kind of like an OnlyFans without the adult aspect, where influencers can monetize their own store. They can have concerts, live events. It's a really cool platform. So the reason we did this is, one is we're going to be doing some experimental marketing with Herberol specifically, and we're going to be using Luku and different influencers on that platform. And so we're kind of just still getting everything going. I expect, by the middle of November, we should be full systems go. They're going to help us, find the right influencers that are going to be a good match for our brands, and we're going to get executing on it. So we're really excited about that. Plus, on top of it, being a video streaming platform, we're going to put out a tremendous amount of video content.
Excellent. Definitely the way of the future.
Yes.
You mentioned earlier about the master distribution agreement that you've got with Hempako. Can you expand on the details of that?
Sure. We just announced the relationship with Hempako, HPCO, great company. We've been working with Sandro in multiple capacities for quite a while. We've been providing raw materials for him, Delta 8, isolate, stuff of that nature for well over a year. And it's great to have this new relationship because now we have the distribution component. And what does every product and brand want? They want more distribution. And so we recently announced that we launched our first distribution center in Michigan, and that's going to service the Midwest. So the first relationship that we have with Hempako is becoming the master distributor for the Michigan territory. And so samples are getting out to our team, and people are really excited here at Distro Plus to start selling the Hempako products. Two of the main products that I want to kind of talk about. One is the Cheech and Chong branded hemp cigarettes. Great product. If you like hemp cigarettes, you're going to love this. But one of the cool things that they did is they cut a deal with Rick Ross, who's a legend in the hip hop industry, and he put together a brand called Hemp Hop. And so they've got about 12 different SKUs. Don't hold me on that; it might be 14. Everything from Delta 8 to pre-rolls to papers to hemp cigarettes. So there's going to be a huge, a very good product catalog from Hempako specifically that is now going to be available through Distro Plus.
Wonderful. So distribution, of course, there's a lot of buzz, especially post-COVID and during COVID, really as a result of COVID. The supply chain issues, do you see any supply chain issues being impacting what you guys do in terms of distribution?
Well, that's a great question. So, COVID is going to have an ongoing, everlasting type of, presence on, supply chain and supply chain disruptions and interruptions. Right now, most of the companies we work with are based right here in the United States. And so we haven't had the same level of disruption as we once did, 2 years ago. So right now, things are pretty smooth sailing. The only aspect that we foresee any problems with are, whenever any of the products that we have that are being packaged in China, it's all the packaging that's coming in. There could be some slight delays, but we're only talking about a couple of weeks. And all the products, of course, are put together here in the US.
Wonderful. So leaning towards your leadership team, can you tell us more about them and what they bring to the table?
Absolutely. So last year about this time was a big win for us. We brought on Larry Rue as our chief financial officer, very seasoned guy, great pedigree, really understands the public markets. He's worked with great big huge companies like Konami and smaller companies like us with GPO Plus. And he's been able to get our books and records in fantastic shape. And the way that we're doing our accounting now is unbelievable. So he's been a big win to the company, and we're thrilled to have him on board. Joe Giacone, as I mentioned earlier, he's got a very, very strong, B2B background. He used to run Belkin, the cell phone company, screen protectors, all the accessories. He ran the Americas for that. Then he pivoted and he started his own brand called Tech Armor, which has sold over 25 million units. If you've been paying attention to John Daly, the golfer, he's got a cannabis brand in California, and he also has created a CBD brand, Delta 8 brand, and a Kratom brand. So he understands all aspects of the, the product life cycle from, hey, wouldn't it be cool if coming up with a product idea to then making it come to fruition, getting into production, and the most important part, getting out to retailers and selling the products. So he's been a big win, and he's been just a huge help for the company. And by the way, Joe will be presenting with me at LD Micro, next week. So we're excited about that.
Wonderful. Excited to meet up with you guys over there. So I'm going to lean a little more to the financial side of things. We see that GPO Plus actually grew around 25%, just under that over the past year. What would you say attributed to that growth?
Well, and I think when you look at our growth, you're talking, of course, the revenue component. So one of the hardest things for a small public company to do is to put numbers on the board. And think about all the companies that you've interviewed, and no offense be to them, these CEOs all have ideas of grandeur, as do I. And the biggest issue is they won't get the first revenue. It's hard to get the first, sale done and everything else. So what we decided to do is let's just go out and let's just start selling. Let's show, the investment community that we're capable of generating sales, putting up big numbers. And along the way, we're going to really figure out what our company is all about, really hone in on the different products that we're going to be offering, and figure out where the most lucrative aspects of our business model are going to be. And that's what we're executing on now.
Wonderful. So the stock was trading pretty significantly yesterday. Would you want to add some commentary to that? I think it's quite exciting to see what's happening in there with the stock price.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the stock has been going fantastic. We're really excited that, a lot of individual investors are getting involved and taking a good look at us. Yesterday we had over 1,400 trades. That's unprecedented for us. We're really excited about that. One of the most actively traded stocks in OTCQB. And I think what's happening now is, we really didn't go out to the investment community and share our story. We just wanted to build a business and not talk about what we're going to do, but talk about what we've done and what we're currently doing. And I think that's resonating with investors, and they see our business model as a breath of fresh air, because we're out there doing something that's fun, exciting, and very lucrative. And so when you compare GPOX to the rest of the market, you see the market's getting hammered. And, it's just really nice that we could be outperforming, the different indices and the market in general. So yeah, we're very excited and we welcome shareholders to get on board. And the best way to do that is go to gpoplus.com/IR and go sign up for our investor relations portal. That way you can make sure that you get all of our, SEC filings, press releases. Next Monday, we're going to start our pre-market newsletter that's going to go out Mondays. We're still working on a name. We'll come up with one in the next, over the weekend. But the idea of that will be to let all the investors know and the investment community as a whole know what's going on with GPO Plus. So we'll make sure that you have the most recent press releases, any shareholder update videos like this that we're doing, and just really keeping the investment community in the know.
Excellent. Recently reported was the quarterly revenue showing 160% increase from Q3 of 2021. How does this quarter, the last quarter's performance, impact what decisions you'll make in terms of your long-term goals going forward?
To be candid, it really doesn't. I don't like to be stuck quarter over quarter and being a slave to, our numbers and earnings. What we're doing is doing the best we possibly can and trying to find the best opportunities for our shareholders. And again, as chairman and CEO of the company, my job is to build long-term shareholder value. And so what's going to be interesting is, making such a big pivot going from healthcare with, just a couple product SKUs, mostly focused around, COVID testing, to now being able to go out and have a huge product catalog and the ability to go out and really, start generating substantial revenues. That's what our main focus is. We're trying to, as I mentioned earlier with our business model, the more retail outlets that we're in, the more wholesalers that are selling the product, the more sales we're going to generate. Same thing on the direct to consumer side. So right now we've got, all of our teams really laser focused on their core mission and their purpose. And we're just going to continue to add new stores, new locations where you can buy our products. And then with the direct to consumer and the social deal that we're doing right now, hopefully you'll be able to see us all over the place.
Wonderful. So you're an astute entrepreneur, just given some of your history. Tell us more about Bret Pojunis and why you find yourself in this industry.
Bret Pojunis, Sagittarius. I've been involved with the public markets for about 20 years in multiple capacities. And I'll tell you what, I really, really fully enjoy what I do more than anything else in this world. I've got friends of mine that have jobs. I've never worked a day in my life. This is the greatest thing in the world. I mean, sure, we put in long hours and it's tough, but we're building something. We're building something exciting. And when you look at my background, I've got a pretty colorful background. I dropped out of high school. I joined the Army. So check the Army box. I've worked in finance. I was chairman of the Libertarian Party here in Nevada with 3 terms on the Libertarian National Committee, nationally, federally, and very much involved with different types of legislation, which was a great experience for me. I mean, I was very much involved with the legalization of marijuana in multiple states, including Nevada. And so just being involved in that process and really understanding it's been, I think it's something that's extremely beneficial to where we are now with GPO Plus, to have that institutional knowledge, to understand like everything that's going on now with like the vapes. And, President Biden just recently talked about, pardoning everybody that's a nonviolent victimless crime that has a cannabis offense on the federal level. So to really understand that, and more importantly, how to take advantage of that, I think is going to be, something that I bring a lot of value to the table. And I'm not alone. I mean, I've got a great team who also has a lot of experience. But in addition to that, people always joke, they're like, you're the best, ultimate politician, because, I've got the nightlife background. I used to own nightclubs here in Las Vegas. I've got the PR background, doing public relations for a very, very long time. And I got the technology background. I'm kind of a technologist at heart. I geek out over stuff that most people wouldn't care about. Right now we're trying to figure out, the next technology platform for our e-commerce launch. And these are all the skill sets that we bring to the table. And there's a lot of crossover between what I do and what my team does. So yeah, I think we're pretty well positioned to, experience a lot of growth because of the experience that we've had in the past.
Great stuff. Bret, give us 3 takeaways for our viewers and potential investors about this conversation and what you want them to remember top of mind.
First things first is our business model. Again, we have a direct to consumer and we have the B2B. What we do is we either find products or we acquire products or develop our own products and drop them into our sales channels. And that's how we monetize it. The more locations we're in and the more sales we generate online, obviously the more the long-term shareholder value will increase as well. So that's one takeaway, to understand what we're all about. Second thing is, I'm going to tell you, right now we're also in the process of updating all the content on our website to reflect the new business model. And the one thing that we didn't really talk about too much, but it's really group purchasing organizations, GPOs. The whole purpose of our business Carmel, for people that don't know, a group purchasing organization, a GPO, is kind of like a buying group. And so our mantra is to aggregate, negotiate, and share. So what does that mean? We aggregate the purchasing power of our members. We leverage that power with different suppliers, vendors, and manufacturers to get great discounts. And then we share those discounts with our members. And so in the case of specialty retailers like vape shops, smoke shops, vitamin stores, if you went to 10 smoke shops right in a row, you'd probably see a lot of commonly purchased products. Well, what we do is we go out to those smoke shops, to those owners, and say, hey, listen, can we purchase for you? What are the most commonly purchased products in your industry? Let us buy them for you, or just, you don't even change your buying habits. But since we're buying so much, we're getting such a good price, and we're sharing those discounts to the vendors and to the retailers. So what that does is that brings the cost down to the consumers. So at the end of the day, we're saving businesses money. We're saving consumers money. So those are the takeaways that I really want your listeners to understand.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. You did mention the website where we can get more information. I visited the website, a very exciting space to be on. So be sure to check out GPO Plus's website. We'll show that on the screen in a bit. But I'm Carmel Fisher. This was Bret Pojunis, the CEO of GPO Plus with the OTC ticker GPOX. Stay tuned for more.
Thank you.